Hey guys, real quick, I hope you find this case brief walkthrough useful. To be honest, I have not seen anything like it on YouTube, so hopefully it helps you guys out if you're struggling or just trying to get an idea what these will look like. It's a completely fake case I made up from scratch to just illustrate how to get all the elements of a case brief. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you gained any value from this, and I'll see you guys soon. Alright guys, let's go ahead and get right into it. As I said before, this is a fake case. I made everything up, so don't worry too much about the definitions. Actually, don't worry about this at all. This does not apply to your actual exams. Don't use this for your actual exams. Just use this to start getting a feel for how to identify the facts, issue, holding, reasoning, and conclusion of a case. This is a law school case brief, which you will be doing for every single one of your cases, at least your first year. So let's go ahead and get right into it. I always like to start with the name and the location of the court and the year. So here, State v. Defendant, Trial Court, Florida, 2024. Pretty straightforward. So let's go ahead and get into the facts of the case. The facts are just what happened, and I would err on the side of including more that you think will be relevant later to the court's analysis, issue, and holding, just so you don't have to go back. So let's go ahead and get right into it. In the following unfortunate series of events, Darla defendant has been charged with the first-degree murder of Victor victim, creative naming. The facts are as follows. Darla and Victor had been in a romantic relationship for over 10 years. On December 25th, 2023, Darla saw a text message on Victor's phone from an unnamed phone number that said, "Can't wait to see you again. I had a great night. Dun dun dun." Darla did not immediately say anything after seeing the text message, but assumed that the text message was from a mistress of Victor. She then began planning over the days that followed to kill Victor by devising a plan to slip poison into his morning coffee, naturally. On January 1st, 2023, Darla put enough drops of cyanide to kill Victor in his morning coffee. Victor drank the coffee that morning and died later that day. Darla confessed that she did the killing, but argues it was not first-degree murder because she was merely getting revenge for Victor's alleged infidelity. A neighbor of Darla's took the stand and testified to seeing Darla through her bedroom window over the late December days, extracting cyanide from cherries in Darla's backyard into a beaker. The same neighbor also saw Darla put drops from the backyard beaker into Victor's coffee on the morning of January 1st, 2023. Multiple witnesses have testified to Darla's competence and mental clarity. Darla works as a chemist at the local state university. Victor had no idea what was going on the entire time. So here, maybe your mind is starting to get going with potential issues. Oh, these facts, go to this, go to that, go to whatever. If not, that's completely okay too. Let's just get down what we think is important. So we start, okay, Darla and Victor. It's probably important to know that they're in a relationship. They're lovers. Obviously, as we read, she saw a text message. She's getting a little jealous. So it's just important to see why she's claiming that revenge may not be first-degree murder. Okay. So I think this sums it up pretty well. Darla and Victor in 10-year relationship, saw text, got jealous. Maybe we can say D for defendant or Darla. Like I said, creative naming. Yeah, we'll keep saying D started planning the murder. D killed Victor, victim, with cyanide. Witnesses saw it all, so that's not a problem. D is claiming that revenge is excuse to murder. Okay, so D is claiming that revenge is excuse to murder. There's a reason why things are called the issue. It's literally the issue that a defendant is going to be bringing up in court to claim why his or her charge in a criminal case is not accurate, or if it's a civil case, whatever the issue is, whether it's a business dispute or something along those lines. So because the defendant is contesting that revenge is an excuse to murder, well, first-degree murder, that's an important fact. we can kind of see that the issue is probably, and we can always come back and refine this later, which we will. We'll frame this as a question. Is revenge an excuse to first-degree murder? That's what she's claiming. Let's see what the court says. First-degree murder, as codified in Florida Statute Section 12345, again, fake, is an unlawful killing that was intentional and executed with prior thought and planning. First-degree murder can only be disregarded if it was justified or excusable. A justified murder is when the alleged murderer was acting in self-defense to protect against deadly force, or if the person is defending their home from deadly force. An excusable murder is when the alleged murderer is legally insane, such that the murderer cannot appreciate the difference between right and wrong. So here the court has just given the rule that they're going to apply the facts to get their holding. Applying the facts to the rule or law here, it's the law, rule, those are interchangeable. Applying the facts to the law is what legal analysis is. That is kind of the entire point of law school. That is what your teachers are trying to teach you. That's what you're going to be tested on. All your points are going to come from the reasoning/analysis piece. So they've given us the rule. We have the facts. Let's see how the court analyzes this and comes to a holding and conclusion. This is what you're going to do on the test, and this is what you really need to learn. Here, it is clear from witness testimony that the defendant intentionally extracted cyanide from cherries and dropped that cyanide into the victim's coffee because she was getting revenge for the victim's alleged affair. So this is kind of just playing at the first-degree murder piece, which again, is kind of undisputed, and that's not the issue here. So getting distracted on issues, which is not the revenge or excuse piece, that can lose you points on an exam. Her motive to get revenge was intentional, as she made the decision to enact revenge through the extraction of poison and placing of that poison into the victim's coffee. There is also evidence from witness testimony that she planned the execution of the murder over the course of the few days after seeing the text message on the victim's cell phone. Under Florida Statute 12345, this constitutes first-degree murder. So that's not an issue. That's all settled and good. However, the defendant alleges that she should not be convicted of first-degree murder because she was merely getting revenge. This argument falls short of the justifications and excuses to murder. So here we have our holding. This is what the court is saying is the law, which is revenge is not a justification or excuse to murder, to first-degree murder. I keep messing that up, but you guys won't. Okay, so we have that, which is important. That's kind of the rule, the holding. But why? That's really where you're going to earn the points on the exam. Let's see. The defendant cannot be said to be legally insane, as she has not had a medical diagnosis and is a professional chemist in the employment of the local university. Okay, so we can see here that this reasoning is playing to the excusable murder piece. So because an excusable murder is when the alleged murderer is legally insane, such that blah, 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 blah. Here, she was not legally insane. And she also had a pretty distinguished job. She's a professor, she's a chemist, so she's pretty smart. So we'll put here that, so the defendant's murder cannot be excusable because she is not insane and has a highly distinguished job, profession, education, etc. We put a little 1 next to that as the first reason and the reason why it is not excusable. So let's continue on. Additionally, the defendant was not acting in any sort of self-defense, as the victim never had a clue as to what the victim was up to. So the victim didn't even know that she was going to do this, so she could not be acting in self-defense. He never attacked her. He never invaded her home or anything like that, and we don't have facts like that. So we'll just say the victim never attacked. He didn't even know what was going on, therefore no self-defense. And because there's no self-defense, no justification. So, and because we know that there are 2 ways that murder can be disregarded, we need to kind of update our issue here. So the issue is not just an excuse, but is revenge an excuse or justification? to first-degree murder, since we do have those two options. The court said revenge is not a justification or excuse. Why? Because defendant's murder cannot be excusable because she is not insane and has a highly distinguished job, profession, education. So her revenge is just not, that just doesn't matter. It just literally doesn't matter. The victim never attacked the defendant. He didn't even know what was going on. So there's no self-defense, no justification for the murder. So here, revenge is not a reasoning or that first-degree murder could be excused. The only two reasons are right here, and she did not qualify for any of those. And in this case, they just straight up give us a conclusion, which we can just copy and paste over here. How nice. Therefore, defendant is guilty of first-degree murder, has no justification or excuse. We could also put revenge is not justification or excuse. And there you have it. This is a very simple case brief, but I think it illustrates the point decently well. So hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope it helps you out.